And just this week, reentry advocate and civic entrepreneur Brandon Chrostowski filed 5,228 signatures. Interesting number. Mr. Chrostowski joins me now to talk about why he wants to be the next mayor of the city of Cleveland. Welcome to Ideas.
Thanks, Rick.
That's a good number of folks to have. Let's start with that, though. Why do you want to be mayor? People know who you are, but you talk about being a voice for the voiceless. Now you want to be the voice for all of us.
That's true. There's three reasons. They're simple. One, I have an intolerance for injustice. I believe there's a lot of injustice going on right now in the city of Cleveland, and that's citywide. Two, I have no respect, tolerance for mediocrity. I find that unacceptable. So I do believe we can do better. And lastly, I have a written plan on where to improve things. Taking national models from across this country and seeing what we have here to facilitate that growth. Mm-hmm. So the plan is there, and I've proven the vision.
People say first thing, you're not a career politician. You're a chef. How do you equate one to the other? But at the same time, you've made a career of giving jobs to those who, in many cases, could not have gotten them.
That's correct. Sometimes I think it's the biggest compliment I could be paid. I don't have any political stain. I'm not beholden. So I do believe this is an asset rather than a liability. But how do these skills translate? I'll explain how I got here today. First and foremost, I started Edwin's for one reason and one reason only. That was to help men and women coming out of prison receive a fair and equal opportunity. I'd argue that this is the most underserved population in the country. And I didn't stop there. I said, well, we're going to build a training center around these men and women for their needs, building things from the inside out. So not only facilitating a top-notch education, but delivering through on that promise where 40 to 50 jobs are lined up to hire these men and women. But I didn't stop there, Rick. I built housing for those who are homeless. I didn't stop there. I said we can do more with mental health counseling. We can do more with supporting families. So I kept on taking this vision to the extreme into helping an individual. And so now it's in 8 prisons. It's right there in Shaker Square. And it's still making a lot of noise. In fact, nationally it's being recognized as a model that changes the face of reentry. Our recidivism is 1% or less.
I think CNN actually made you one of their heroes, or nominated you as one of their heroes for that program. So congratulations on that. That, though, is helping hundreds of people. Now you'd be looking at helping hundreds of thousands. It doesn't translate the exact same way.
Yeah. Well, at this clip, I think we're going to be down quite a few more by the end of this year, population of Cleveland. So, it keeps on dwindling, unfortunately. Yes, it's a lot larger scope, but the approach is still the same. It's helping the least served, who need it the most, and fighting for them with a sense of urgency. It's really an approach to this and thinking from the inside out. So every one of my platforms is built from the inside out and how we recreate or rebuild police, fire, education. But that's the lens we have to look through, not from the top down.
You talk about that not going from the top down, and right now we'd have to consider the top being the mayor. He's obviously the big candidate here of the 20 or so that we mentioned who are running. We had mentioned on the show earlier today, he was out this morning, he was out this afternoon. How do you take on somebody who's got 12 years in the office that you want?
Well, that's a very good question. The same way I took on the impossible task of creating Edwin's, everyone thought it was impossible. And you do it with a sense of grit, and you know what you're fighting for. And when it's the truth and when it's right, there's no way you can lose. So I believe in fighting hard on the ground to try to disassemble this machine that's currently entrenched inside of our city. And that's the only way to do it.
Let's talk some specifics. You came out against the Quicken Loans deal. You called it actually a slap in the face to Clevelanders in an op-ed for Metro Urban News. Yeah. Why is that your thought?
Yeah, I'm sorry I was so polite in the article because I look at what we're doing with $88 million, and again, there's a lot of intricacies to this deal. It's not until 2023. It's an emission tax, et cetera. But the bottom line is it's taking money out of our general fund. And when we're already looking at a lead crisis, 3 times worse as Flint, we're already looking at 2,000 homeless school children. And then the priority right now is to help aid a billionaire into, to promoting his product. Yeah, it will drive revenue for the city. I don't disagree. I believe there is a fair deal out there, but it certainly isn't this one, passed through on an emergency ordinance with cheap tricks on the steps of City Hall. I've seen a lot in my day, but this is a first.
Okay. Last thing before I let you go here, the staff, your folks, they work for you. You've had to step away, obviously, because you're the candidate now.
Yes.
How'd they reacted?
How they reacted? Well, I think some cheered and some of them were disappointed. I mean, it's across the board, right? But, they're very supportive of this cause. And truthfully, I would not have been able to even think about running for mayor of the city of Cleveland if the men and women who succeeded at Edwin's showed me it was possible. They showed me that it was possible to invest in the least to prove the most. So there's a lot of excitement that we're going to be fighting for more on a bigger scale. And, fans and foes both agree that, I'm the right man for the job. I've got the integrity, the heart, and the crazy work ethic.
We'll leave it there with your crazy work ethic. Brandon Chrostowski, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
You bet.